visiting with us this morning. We've got a number of visitors. We love having you. It's a very special treat for us today to have Annie and Farie all the way from Mpangeni, long time friend of ours. And it's fantastic to see you with us this morning. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Nathan Short. He sent me the most beautiful WhatsApp this week. Of course, he's away in university in Potchefstroom, and he's been said he's really been enjoying our series. This is the third lesson in our series on the book of Ruth, and he said how meaningful it is meant to him. So Nathan, fantastic, and I'm glad that is the case. Hey, so while we've been going through the book of Ruth, we've been talking about relationships. And it's very interesting for me, and we've been watching Ruth and Boaz. We've been watching this relationship develop. It's very interesting to me that pretty much in any given relationship, opposites attract. Isn't that true? Opposites attract. For those of you who are married, most of you will say, I'm nothing like my wife. My wife is nothing like me. Opposites attract. For instance, let's do a little survey like this. Is it true that one of you in the relationship, you cannot go to bed if there's dishes in the sink, and the other one says, "Môre is nog 'n dag. Tomorrow's another day. We'll get to them when we get to them." But some of you cannot sleep if there's dishes in the sink. A lot of us, not a hand. The other thing in our house, one of us believes in the 5-second rule. How many of you know what the 5-second rule is? So when you drop a piece of food, this is not scientific, by the way, but if you pick it up, it's edible if you pick it up within 5 seconds. But one of us said, no, if it's dropped on the floor, it goes straight in the bin. I said, I didn't grow up like that. It's kostbaar. This is money lying on the floor. It's going in my mouth. How about this one? Expired food. Expired food. One person in the relationship pays attention to expiry dates. The other one couldn't care. Absolutely couldn't care. And some of you I see nudging each other, and I know Diana's a stickler for expiry dates. Ooh, this tin of beans is going to expire next month. We can't eat it now. I'm saying, hey, these mushrooms, they're only 8 months old. Let's eat them. So, but this is interesting. And so we're in Ruth chapter 3. Well, this is the third in our series on the book of Ruth. And I told you last week it gets weird today. Everybody okay with weird? And sometimes we read weird in the Bible. So a little catch up. This is where we are. A man by the name of Elimelech, he lives in the city of Bethlehem. And there is a famine in the land, and he's married to Naomi. There's a famine in the land, and they're worried if we stay here, we're going to die. So what he does, he packs up his wife, Naomi, and their 2 sons. They are named Mahlon and Chilion, and they travel. They travel up, they travel north, they cross the Jordan River, and they move down, they go around the back of the Dead Sea, and they settle in the land of Moab. It's not a very long trip. In fact, I told you, I Googled it even this morning. I discovered, man, it's about the distance of the Comrades Marathon. I mean, you can do that in a day. So they get to the land of Moab, and guess what happens in the land of the Moab? 3 of them die. Elimelech dies, his son dies, and both of his sons dies. Mahlon and Chilion die. And we know about the land of Moab that this is not a land that God has blessed. Remember, Moab's mother is the daughter of his father. Remember that horrendous situation. So Lot's daughters got him drunk, and they slept with him so they could continue in the lineage, and born to that horrendous situation. is Moab. And so he started the Moabites, and God called them. I showed you the scripture. This is the land of the Moabites. This is my wash basin. They forsook Yahweh as their God. They chose foreign gods. It's an horrendous situation. And look at Elimelech. His name is my God is king. He did everything else but acknowledge God as his king. And he took his family to a God-forsaken land, if I use it. And he died there, and both of his sons. We don't know how. And now, Naomi is left with 2 daughters-in-law, and she said, I'm heading back to Bethlehem. I'm heading back to my people, and most of all, I'm heading back to my God. And she said to her daughter-in-laws, goodbye. You stay here, go back to your families. And Orpah said, okay, thanks, Mom. I'm going back to my families. But Ruth said those incredible words, and they're immortalized. We've found them on plaques. You go to Kum bookstores, you'll find a plaque with these words on, where Ruth said to her mom-in-law, entreat me not to leave you, nor from following after you. Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people. Where you stay, I will stay. And most of all, your God will be my God. And so they head back to Bethlehem. And the most amazing thing, because Ruth now takes on this, we looked at repentance a couple of weeks ago. She turns her back on the Moabite. She takes on God, and God honors this repentant relationship. She's gleaning. That means she's picking up what is ever's left in the field. His name, Boaz, who owns the field. He's a farmer. He's a big businessman. Got a lot of people working for him. And he notices this girl. And they have a date. Their first date is a lunchtime meeting. She's smelly. She's been working all the time. And I tell you, there was something going on there, because you read in the scripture in chapter 3, there was a lot of other women involved, but a lot of other women gleaning, a lot of other women looked like they were working for Boaz, but Ruth caught his eye. I wonder if it sent shivers down his spine. I wonder if sparks were flying. I wonder if that first lunchtime date, they started to finish each other's sentences. The Bible doesn't say. But his name was Boaz. What an incredible character. It looked like they'd made a connection. It looked like this was going to last. And I wonder if they had butterflies in their stomachs, and Ruth saw her future flash before her eyes. And you know what happened, as we read last week? After the lunch date, they go back into the field, and Boaz calls his guys and said, you see that chickie over there? Said, wherever she walks, you throw sheaves of barley. Don't let her just pick up the scraps, which is a Levitical law. You drop these sheaves, and where she's walking, and we know that she went home and she was able to make an ephah of flour. Naomi, her mother-in-law, is just blown away. And who is this guy? He said, well, it's Mom. His name is Boaz. He's a kinsman redeemer. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And we saw that an ephah of flour is equal to 2 weeks' wages. It's an incredible story. And so she goes home with all this flour. And then you know what happened? Nothing. 7 weeks go by, nothing. He ghosted her. And it was, that's exactly what happened. And I wonder if she's going home and she's thinking, well, what's happened? There was no courtesy call, no WhatsApp to say, did you get home okay? No little picture of Instagram, of her picking up the sheaves, out of this buckets of barley. None of that. He just ghosted her. Not like, did you make it okay? Did you enjoy the barley? How was the day? None of that. And I think Ruth must have thought, did I come on too strong? Was I a little too forward at lunch? Did I talk too much? Maybe I stunk from the work all morning, and I just put this guy off. What did I do wrong? So Naomi says, listen, You just got to relax. You got to do exactly what I tell you to do. And so we have Naomi. She steps in. This is the mother-in-law, as you know. She steps into the conversation, and she says to Ruth, it's time to DTR. You know what DTR is? It's time to determine the relationship. We got to decide. You got to define the relationship. And you know what? This is the time when the boy and the girl have a discussion, and they decide, where do we go from here? Are we going to be just friends? You know, are we going to be more than friends? Are we just going to like casual date together? Or are we going to, and then those big words, I don't know if it's used anymore, but this is the big words that we used to use in our day. Are we going to go steady? Remember that word? Are we going to go steady? You know, if we decide like we're going to be an item now, is it going to be like a hard launch or a soft launch? You know, it's like we'll do it, but you know, when we're other people's companies, like there's no holding hands, nobody's going to know. Or is it going to be a hard launch? Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp, pictures, flowers. What type of launch is this going to be of our relationship? And you know, I tell you what, Naomi, like a mother, she was pushing Ruth. You know, so this might take you back to those dating days. So my dating days, late 70s, when I met Diane for the first time, and I told you in the previous sermons, I had this work function to go to, and I was telling people, I don't know who I'm going to take. And we're standing outside, I'm standing next to Diane, and Hildegard said, take Diane. And Diane said, it's time you took me out. She's 16 years old, I'm 23 years old. This is like, okay, let's just. So I took her, and she arrived in this incredible white dress, and so and then I held her hand afterwards, and then the rest is history. So would you like to see a picture of Diane and I when we started dating? I think I've got to put up that picture of us there. So how about that? No, it's not funny. So I've got a, yeah, so that was, I don't know, it might have been 1979 or 1980, somewhere around there. Notice the pen in the pocket. I mean, it was a cool thing to do those days, to walk around with a pen in your pocket, especially with you dating. It drove the chicks mull. I don't know, they were absolutely crazy. And so I also, while I was looking through some albums, I found this other picture. I thought I would just show you the picture of the girl that I fell in love with. Put up that next picture, you know. Oh, my word. Is she smoking hot or what? So that's the girl that I fell in picture. Anyway, so you can take that picture off now. Thank you. So we decided, okay, and it was clear in my mind that we're just going to this was going to be understated. So I took her flowers, and that's when it exploded. She showed her flowers to everyone. So those days, no internet, no WhatsApp. She got on the phone. She told everyone that Brian had given her flowers. And so it turned out to be really a hard launch. But anyway, we had DTR'd. We had defined the relationship. So we're going to see today in Ruth chapter 3 how they define the relationship. And I'm hoping that you will be able to glean, using the word from the text, this relationship. Ruth chapter 3 is where we are. We're reading from verse 1 and verse 2. One day, Ruth's mother-in-law, Naomi, said to her, "My daughter, I must find a home for you." Now, I know she used the word home, but she's thinking the word husband. But somehow just the word home come out, where you will be well provided for. Listen, what you're doing at the moment, going and like the widows, like the orphans, you go before the harvesters, you're picking up leftover grain. It's wonderful to think. But you know what? You deserve better than that. Now Boaz, yeah, she's still got, I know he's ghosted her. There's been 7 weeks. But she's still got Boaz on her mind. Now, Boaz, with whose woman you have been working with, you've got a lot of people working for him and a lot of people gleaning in the field, is a relative of ours. You will see shortly he's a distant relative. Tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Now, if you don't know what winnowing means, is you take the barley and then you take it to the threshing floor. If you'll bring up that next picture I've got for you. So this is the threshing floor. And then go to the next picture, if you would. And what the people who got the barley, they would take and they would beat it. And so all the little kernels would fall off. And then you take a fork and then you would throw it into the air. That is called winnowing. You throw it in the air and the wind would blow away the chaff. And all the good stuff would fall by gravity to the floor. And that's what you would take, and that's what you would grind on a mill, and you would make your bread with. So she says, now Boaz with those women, tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. In other words, Ruth is going to take things into, Naomi is taking matters into her own hands. We've got to find a man for you. And you know what? So we're going to see now, after the harvest, they're doing all the winnowing and people are happy. The hard work and the hard labor is coming to an end and Naomi is strategizing. Boaz is going to be there. Boaz is going to be. I know he never sent you a message. He hasn't found out how you are doing. Let's go to verse 3. This is incredible. This is incredible. Here's amazing advice from the mother-in-law. What you need to do is wash. It's a good day. This is a good advice for any date. Before you go on the date, wash. Okay? Ladies, you have a good wash. Men, clean your fingernails, okay? No girl wants to hold hands with a filthy grease mechanic, okay? So, wash, put on perfume. This is great dating advice, isn't it? So, I remember back in the day, our dating day, the perfume for ladies, I don't know how many of you ladies can remember this, was 4711. You all remember 4711? That was the name. That was the perfume to have. Now, today, I don't know, is it still Chanel number 5? Is it Chanel number 5? I don't know what it is. Guys, pull out the Old Spice, pull out the Blue Stratus, whatever you've got, And then we had a scary, the old days, now you've got the roll-on. But before the roll-on, you had this thing, and the instruction is pull off the top and push up bottom. It was scary instructions. But you would push this thing up, and then you would put it. So Ruth chapter 3 and verse 3, wash, put on perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Hey, Ruth, your jeans have got holes in them. Wait for the 21st century, you'll get to wear them again. But you cannot wear them. Get rid of them, get some good clothes on, then go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. And folks, now this is where it's going to get wild. It's going to get weird here. Verse 4, when he lies down, note the place where he is lying. Now, by the way, so they finished, they've got this pile of barley there, and the Boaz and his workers, they're going to sleep around the threshing floor. They can't leave it there, it's going to get stolen. So they're away from their homes, probably got a blanket or two, and they're going to sleep right there by the threshing floor. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying, then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do. Folks, I've never given this advice to anyone. Fathers, I hope you've never pulled your daughters aside and said, go and find out where this good-looking guy is sleeping, While he is sleeping, go and lie under the covers with him, and then wait for him to tell you what to do. Have you lost your mind? Anyway, this is the advice that Naomi gives to Ruth. But folks, yeah, so ladies, if you're in the dating scene, this is descriptive. It is not a prescriptive. A lot of the stuff we read in the Bible describes what happened. It doesn't tell you this is what you're going to do. There's a big difference between descriptive and prescriptive. Weird. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying, then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do. Folks, there's a bunch of theories about that, but basically, Naomi is not thinking evil things here. She's not out of her mind. She's basically saying, listen, you need to find a right time to go and make yourself available to a man who's got impeccable character, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks. So Naomi is saying really to Ruth, you need to be aggressive in this. Because ladies, you see, guys can be quite doff when it comes to dating. Hey? Sometimes you have to be a little bit pushy in all of this. No, Mr. Ruth, come now. You've got to DTR you've got to move that relationship on. You cannot just be passive in all of us. This guy is possibly your guardian redeemer. This is a guy who will provide for you, will protect you, who will be the spiritual head of your family. And as I've just said, sometimes men need a little encouragement. So Ruth goes, she lies down at his bed. The story even gets weirder. You ready for more weird? We're reading in verse 7 and verse 8 of Ruth chapter 3. When Boaz had finished eating and drinking, he was in good spirits. You know, ladies, you want to catch a guy when he's feeling good? Wait till he's had the meal. Just really relaxed and enjoying himself at a good meal. He's in good spirits. He went over to lie down at the far end of the grain pile. Ruth approached quietly. I have imagined everybody's asleep by now. You're going to see later in the scriptures, it's around about midnight. People have worked all day. The thrashing has been done. The winnowing has been done. And she's waking quietly. Otherwise, I imagine one of his workers, one of his family, one of the other women who were there winnowing or whatever around would have woken up and said, there's a girl in your bed. So Ruth approached quietly, uncovered his feet, and she lay down at his feet. In the middle of the night, something startled him. What do you mean something? Someone. There's a girl in your bed. He freaks out. Okay. He turned and there was a woman lying at his feet. So he's in a good mood. And there was a clean, good smelling woman lying in his bed. Ruth chapter 3 and verse 9. Who are you? He asked. Now, he had met Boaz. They had a date. They had lunch together. And I just imagine it's dark. And he can't see her. He can smell her. And the perfume is just wafting there. There's no, body odor around here. Who are you? I am your servant Ruth. She said, spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family. Let's say this again. A guardian redeemer is a relative. If we pop that up on the screen, a guardian redeemer is a relative who had the responsibility and the privilege of providing for a family member in time of need. Typically a brother. So you have a brother and your brother dies. So you would be the guardian redeemer of his wife and his children. And so now he is Boaz, but he is not a brother or a brother-in-law. He is a distant relative. He's not the closest relative, and he didn't have a legal obligation to protect her. Remember also, she's not from Bethlehem. She's a Moabite. She's not even from the same clan. But she is now there asking him to be her guardian redeemer. So she's moving forward. I wonder if this was kind of like a proposal. I wonder if this is like a proposal. Was she on her knees at his feet saying, "You my guardian redeemer," or a guardian redeemer? Can we take this further forward? So they spend the rest of the night together. Because this happened about midnight. She's sleeping at his feet. Folks, there is no physical intimacy here. I just want to take a little caveat from quite a fun story, just to say a few things about this. Because, and I get this question sometimes from young people, and I think many young people in the dating scene are really asked this question. Before our marriage, how far can we go? How far can our intimacy go? And you will notice from this story, there is no physical intimacy. I'm not going to go into too much, but I want to leave you this incredible passage of scripture of Song of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 4. Promise me, O woman of Jerusalem, not to awaken love until the time is right. Not to awaken love until the time is right. And really, they're talking about really awaken the body. There is a time and place for physical intimacy. There's a time and place for sex, and God has designed that for the marriage relationship. Marriage is the right time. And so people are well, how far can I go? And let me put it this way. I think really that is the wrong question to ask. So the days Grant and I used to paraglide together, we never went out to fly without one thing in mind: how not to crash. How not to crash. We never went out to fly and said, how far can I get to the edge before we are going to crash and burn and die? How far? You stay away from the edge. You stay away from the edge. Very recently, in the last couple of months, a man by the name of Graham Dinkelman died from a snake bite. You'll know him as Dingo. You've seen his videos. His amazing videos. Went to his show, many of you have been to his show, Piggly Wiggly. He's got a place, and we sat there mesmerized as Dingo handled these black mambas, green mambas, spitting cobras, wrinkles and stuff. And he would have his 10-year-old son go and fetch them at the cage and hand them, and he was handling them. And I remember so clearly saying to Diane, it's only a matter of time before he gets bitten. You don't get that close and you play that close to the edge without being bitten. And we know he'd been bitten by a black mamba before. Very, very serious. He survived that bite. And you'd think that would say, I've been bitten, I need to back off from this. In fact, he became allergic to snake bites. And of course, he eventually was bitten by a green mamba. And after a month in hospital, he died. Too close to the edge, pushing. Because, the more you push the edge, the more people watch your WhatsApp videos, and the more you sell, the more the money comes in. And he just got too close, and no pilot goes up there and say, how close can I get to the edge without dying? And I would say to those of you in dating relationships, back off from the edge. Back off from the edge. Because if you go to the edge, you will get seriously hurt. A time to awaken love is the God-honoring covenant of marriage. I know that's old-fashioned in these days, but sex represents a union of two people in a God-honoring relationship as God has designed. Now, if you want to have and do what everyone else is doing, you can do that. Or you can do something better and do it God's way. So Boaz treats Ruth honorably. He respects her in an honorable way. She's at the foot of his bed, and he doesn't push into any physical relationship there. Let's read verse 11 of Ruth chapter 3. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I will do for you all you asked. Her being forward has paid off. All the people of my town know that you are a woman of noble character. And that's what we want, folks. We want, as Christian men and women, people know us. We stand out for Jesus Christ. I know they're doing it, and they're doing it, and they don't. But us, we are people of noble character. We want to be in a relationship that is God-honoring. And so Ruth has more than hinted at her declaration of love for Boaz. Now they can be happily ever after. Not so. There's more business to take care of. Ruth chapter 3 and verse 12. Although it is true that I am a guardian redeemer of our family, there is another person in the family. He's more closely related to you than I am. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to be your guardian redeemer, good, let him redeem you. But if he is not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. So you lie there. You lie here until morning. And so there's business to be taken care of. Boaz need to wake up in the morning and go and find that other relative and say, listen, relative, there is Ruth. Do you want to redeem her as your kinsman redeemer? Do you want to do that all week? And next week, we're going to carry on and we're going to see how Boaz gets to keep the girl. In conclusion, let me just take a few lessons that we can glean from this thing. Number one, it's often wise to put yourself in the right place to increase the odds of meeting the right person. If you're hiding, saying no one's come hunting for me, put yourself in the right place. Number two, don't overlook those who are right in front of you, just as with Diane and I. I mean, I was looking for someone to take on a date, looking, and someone, hey, right next to you, there's Diane. Okay, good point. Sometimes you might have to go after what you want. Sometimes you might have to do that. And even if this is really an important lesson, even if you don't get it right, God can still make it right. And I know many people have been in relationships. Things go bad. They've crashed and burned. They did things they didn't want to do. But all things work together for good for those that love the Lord, who are called according to his purpose. And so there's never a bad time to start a God-honoring relationship. And our last point this morning, if you want a marriage that honors God in the future, live a life that honors God today. If you want a relationship that honors God in the future, live a life that honors God today. Let's stand as we sing.